Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Punisher, One Last Kill. So this was a 2026 special by Marvel within the MCU, and it was announced after season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. This special lasted for about 40 something minutes. It is frustratingly good, but it is frustrating. And there's a reason why it's frustrating. But half of it, the first 20 minutes, frustrates me. The last 20 minutes was just awesome because it's just pure action. But here's the thing, right? After watching this, first I'm kind of like, when exactly does this take place? Then I'm just kind of like, hold up, did they just retcon the Netflix Punisher show? So, just like Daredevil in the MCU, this Punisher is slightly retcon, just slightly and everything, which is a bit frustrating and everything. Because they introduce a brand new set of characters that are also responsible for his family's death that has never been mentioned before. Now, there's some goods, some positives, you know what I'm saying, and some negatives with this special. First of all, I gotta give it up. This is the most grittiest MCU project I have ever seen. Not only that, but it's the most grittiest and brutal thing Disney has ever made. So much props to that. Daredevil versus Wolverine didn't even come close to the brutality that's in this, because in the Deadpool thing, of course, it's humorous and everything. This was just dark and gritty. I am surprised Marvel greenlit this. How is it not rated R? A mature rating is not enough. I mean, they killed a freaking dog, for crying out loud. The Hulk and World War Hulk literally killed a dog in the comics. And that has never been adapted in live action, or even for the most part on like the small screen. And if it ever was, I will never see the Hulk kill a dog, because I don't think Disney will ever do that. But my God, they did that in The Punisher. Now, things that frustrate me is that the first 20 minutes, I have seen this all before. And that's what frustrates me, because it's just another rehash of the first 2 seasons of The Punisher show. Here's the thing, right? John Bernthal and Ronaldo Marcus Green. Now, I've never heard of Ronaldo before. I looked at his credits. I've never watched anything he's written, produced, directed, nothing. This is the first thing. And so, him and Jonathan wrote this special, this 45-minute special. When you watch this 45-minute special and you watch those first 20 minutes, like I say, and then you watch the last 20 minutes, the whole 40-something minute thing, how in the world did it take 2 men to write this? That was like, I don't understand. Because like I said before, the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, this special pretty much rehashes and everything. And then, of course, those last 20 minutes are nothing but pure action. So I don't understand why it took 2 men just to rehash something that we've seen before. If you was to take the setup of the first 2 seasons and put that in that 20 minutes, that's it. So what did it take 2 men to write this? I will never understand. But I really enjoyed this special. It just irritates the crap out of me because I want to move forward. And so this is what it's about, right? This special takes place right after Daredevil Born Again Season 1, when the Punisher breaks out of that detention center that Fisk has. It is set in the year 2027. This takes place before season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, right before the riots that night. And it's a prequel for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And so, the thing that bugs the living crap out of me that I want to move forward from is that once again, this is the Punisher's third time retiring from being the Punisher and wanting to live that of a normal life. That is literally the beginning setup of the first 2 seasons. See, the reason why he's retiring once again for the third time is after he broke out, he went and killed some criminals that were responsible for his family's death. Then he locks up his Punisher gear and he just lives his life exercising, hallucinating, having PTSD, and not being able to cope with life. He has done that twice. In the beginning of season 1, in the beginning of season 2 of the Netflix Punisher show, he killed the remaining criminals that were responsible for his family's death. He retired his Punisher suit. And then he just lived his life not speaking to nobody and just looking like a zombie and everything and hallucinating and stuff. We have seen that literally twice before. And it's very annoying. Why are they rehashing this again? I don't need to see this dude retire for the millionth time. I don't need to see him have PTSD for the millionth time and everything. And I don't need to see him not talk to nobody for the millionth time. Move on from that. There are other Punisher stories that they can tell. I get it. His family's dead. That traumatized him. There's a little PTSD in a full season is fine. Not for a special where we have seen this before. And he does his typical thing. He just doesn't talk to nobody, no nothing. And once again, he sees crime happening and doesn't do nothing. For those first 20 minutes, he ain't doing crap. And the streets are riddled with crime. I've never seen this much crime in the MCU, which is nice to see for New York, because New York is a pretty violent place, especially back in the day. And you always hear all these superheroes living in New York and there's so much crime, where it's like, but you never really see it until like a super villain comes around. And so it was nice to see ordinary people go crazy and everything and just start like wreaking havoc for superheroes to clean up. But there are no superheroes to clean this up and stuff. Like, where's Daredevil? Like, where's Spider-Man? Of course, they can't be in here because that's a whole lot of money to put in there. And they don't have the budget. But the fact that Frank is just walking around these people, not even paying attention to them, and watching people get assaulted, robbed, all kind of crap. The homeless dude, like, my God, these thugs just took his dog and threw the dog in the street and got hit by a car. Then stole the homeless man's hat. And it's just like he's not doing nothing. So that part frustrates me because of the simple fact he is the Punisher. He punishes people. I still remember season 2 of Daredevil when he showed up, went to that pawn shop, went to go buy something, and then found out that their owner's a pedophile and everything. And I remember him closing the door, messing that man up and stealing his gun and everything, because that's who the Punisher does. He just punishes people who commits crime and everything. And so just to see this rehash for like the umpteenth time is just very, very annoying. And they need to move on from that. And how does it take 2 men to write that? Especially when we've seen that twice before. So this is the part that just utterly frustrates me. Now the performances in this are really, really good. Oh, by the way, when I say this takes place after season 1, At first, I couldn't tell when this takes place, so I had to look it up. Because there's a guy who says something in the beginning, says something about say what you will about the king, but at least the old one kept us safe. So I'm all like, so when does this take place? After season 1 or 2 of Born Again? Well, I looked it up online. It takes place after season 1. And so, like, back to what I was saying, performances are really good. The only bad thing I don't like about Jonathan Berthal's performance in this is that his grunts are getting very annoying. He needs to tone them down and change them up. It's just like, okay, here's your cue. Do your grunt. Or how he does that stuff, you know? It's like, oh, it's just kind of like, it's just like, tone it down some, man. Like, it's just, it's too much, you know? His PTSD, I get it, like I said before, but he kind of overdid that with the no, 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 the shaking, looking zombietized and everything. It was a bit too much, you know what I'm saying? Just tone that down a little bit because, it was a little distracting and everything. But I do like how Frank is just a man with grief. He lives in a crappy apartment. He eats crappy food. There's really nothing in his apartment except for a few stuff like a bed, a table, maybe a TV, a crime board, and tons of weapons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just, you know, a simple man and he doesn't need much. You know what I'm saying? Some of the music was really good. I like the rock and roll music when the fight scenes. There was one fight scene, the first fight scene with the music, this like classical music, that was weird. I didn't like that. So that was really odd, you know what I'm saying? And he's always talking to like his wife and kids, but the thing is, he is hallucinating. He wants to end his life. And he almost does it. But then when he hallucinates, he sees his wife, he sees his old friend, and he sees Karen and his kids. I don't get this whole Karen thing. I've never understood that. I've never liked that whatsoever because him and Matt have never fought over her, you know what I'm saying? But and it's just kind of one of those odd things that happened in season 1 of Punisher that I just never liked. Also, what's weird is him retiring after he escaped Fisk's compound. After that, and all he been through with Daredevil in the first season, why would he retire? Like, that just doesn't make no sense. It's like they couldn't think of nothing, but all like, oh, hey, this happened in the first 2 seasons, let's just do it again. However, what snaps him out of it is the slight retcon. A car is first following him, and he notices that. And then all of a sudden, when he's heading back to his place, there's a woman in a wheelchair. And first she's all like, you know, my child is like kidnapped or dead or something like that. And he just looks at her. He just doesn't say nothing. He's very stone cold. And I like that. And she just goes on and on about her family and how they were murdered one by one, starting with the husband. The family is the Nucci family. Now, the Nucci family actually is from the comics. They appeared in 2000 in volume 4 or 5, issue 1. And so, yeah, they actually do exist. They're a stereotypical Italian mobster family. And the husband was like a sleazebag cheating on her. The oldest son, he has like a jumpsuit, working at some kind of like family restaurant, and you know his thugs around, and he gets taken out. And then the youngest son was in the car with her, and apparently he's been accused of messing around with women and doing things to him, and then he gets shot. Now, first and foremost, there's a lot of CGI blood, which I hate. Also, the gun discharge looks CGI too. I don't like that either. But then all of a sudden, there's that twist where she starts to talk about, like, it was you. You murdered my family, this and that. And then we start to see more and more glimpses of the person who actually killed, like, members of her family. And we see the old fashioned skull on his shirt. And they try to not show his face because he still has that beard, you know what I'm saying? And of course, Frank was like clean shaven back then. And so, like, she is just pissed off and talking about how, like, we're kind of like similar the same. Your family got killed. You went for revenge. Mine's now gone, and I'm looking for revenge. And she puts a bounty on his head, saying that she owns all the crime in Sicily, New York. And every gangster and thug is gonna come for you at the exact time you murdered my last child and everything. And so then she leaves, and he's looking around kind of worried. And I'm just like, he can't be worried. He's the freaking Punisher. Now, the moment I heard this, the first thing that went in my mind was John Wick 2. At the very end, the bounty's put on his head. He's looking around nervous, wondering when they're going to come for him, stuff like that. And that's exactly kind of how this is. This whole special is kind of like John Wick meets the Punisher. I mean, a huge bounty on his head, hundreds of people coming after him. It's basically just that. And it's just kind of like, come on now, be more original than that. He has, like, more hallucinations of like Karen, and then he starts to hear some crime outside his door, and somebody's being abused, and he goes to kind of like stop it, but then all of a sudden somebody sets him on fire, and John actually allowed himself to be burnt on fire. After that, he goes beast mode, and then for the next 10-15 minutes, it's just pure awesome action. I mean, it is awesome. Awesome. He's just shooting people left and right, punching people left and right, falling out of windows, all kinds of stuff. Getting shot, like, you just name it. And this is what I expect from a Punisher show, movie, special, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so he's just going at it. And he ends up, of course, killing everybody that came after him. But what's very frustrating is what happened after the fight. As he's killing some of the remainder people, he sees that woman again with her bodyguard, and she hops in the car and, like, she leaves. Now, why didn't she just have her bodyguard kill Frank then and there when she first confronted him? Like, you know what I'm saying? So after that, he goes back to this bodega and he talks to the family there, and the little girl gives him like a flower. And one thing that's interesting about the bodega family is, like, okay, her father is half black, half Indian. We don't know exactly who the mom is, but I'm assuming that black lady is the mom. How did a half black, half Indian and man and black woman make a biracial black and white child? Like, come on, Hollywood, you're still doing that? It don't make no sense. This time he returns to his daughter's grave. He wipes away all the necklaces and stuff he's put there, and he puts the flower. And he has more business to take care of. He realizes that this city needs the Punisher and that people are still going to come after him. So he suits up, and we finally now get to see him in his suit for like the last minute of like the show, with a brand new skull on the chest that resembles more of the comic. Personally, I like the Netflix one. That's cool. I think it's an actual scan of his actual skull. But yeah, of course, this is gonna make the comic book fans happy. And so he confronts the thugs that mess with that homeless man, got the dude's hat back, and blows his brains out. And then it just ends. And I'm just kind of like, wait, where's the rest of it? He's not gonna go after the lady in the wheelchair. Like, we're not gonna see him clean up the streets. Like, that's just kind of it. It left you desiring for more. You know what I'm saying? It feels incomplete. It was only 45 minutes. Why couldn't it be longer than that? Why couldn't it be a full 60 minutes? Why couldn't it be an hour and a half? Why not a TV movie or something like that? Like, and just the way it ended makes you feel like I can't think of the phrase right now. Something handed. I forgot what that phrase is. Is it open handed? Up handed? I forget what it is. But it just makes it feel, you just kind of like, you just literally asking, where's the rest of it? It's like watching a movie, then the movie all of a sudden cuts off, and you're just kind of like wanting more, you know? And I just feel like ending it that way was so lazy. Like, it just really was. And that's the problem with this whole special. The whole special was lazy. But it took two men to write this. They rehashed him retiring. They rehashed him isolating himself and, becoming antisocial. Then they rehashed him becoming the Punisher again, fighting and killing a bunch of people. How does that take two people to write? And you literally just rehash something that we've seen twice before. And I'm tired of the Punisher starting like that or being like that. The old writers from the Netflix series, they're now writing the Daredevil series. And so I would have assumed that one of the writers would have came from that on to here, but they didn't. And it's just kind of like, I remember the first Marvel special, Werewolf by Midnight. Now that was cool. That was fresh. That was new. There was a bunch of characters we've never seen before. Like, that was cool. Then, of course, they did the whole Guardians thing. I don't think I watched that. I don't think. I think I watched the group ones, but that was about it. And it's just kind of like, if this is going to be a special, and you're reintroducing, once again, the Punisher into the MCU, do something completely different. Take a story from the actual comics and do that. Like, I'm glad they gave us a villain from the comics, but I didn't even know she was from the comics at first. And not only that, but they retcon saying that her family was somewhat responsible for his family's death. Just something that's never been talked about before in any of the other seasons. So, this is why this special is frustratingly good, in my opinion. Action's great, acting's great. It's just everything else. And the only problem with everything else is just I've seen it before. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.